Before we begin, I need you to do one thing. Don't get in an elevator alone tonight, trust me. By the time this story ends, you'll understand why. Marcus worked late. He always worked late. It was the kind of habit that had cost him 2 relationships, a social life, and apparently, on this particular Thursday in November, something far more precious. The office building was empty by 9. He knew this. He liked it this way. The hum of the fluorescent lights, the distant heartbeat of the city outside the glass, and the silence. Just him and his spreadsheets and the cold cup of coffee he kept forgetting to drink. At 11:47 p.m., he finally saved his files, pulled on his coat, and headed for the elevator. The lobby was 40 floors down. He pressed the button. The little arrow lit up orange. He waited. The doors opened. Now here's the thing about Marcus. He was a logical man, a practical man, a man who didn't believe in gut feelings or things that go bump in the night. So when something inside him whispered, "Take the stairs," he ignored it. He stepped inside. The elevator was cold, colder than the hallway. He noticed this, filed it away, and pressed the button for the lobby. The doors slid shut. He was alone, or at least he thought he was. The elevator began to descend. 39, 38, 37. The numbers ticked down on the little screen above the doors, and Marcus scrolled through his phone, already thinking about the drive home, about the leftovers in his fridge, about anything other than the growing feeling that the air in this small metal box had changed. It was the breathing that he heard first, not his own. He froze, phone still in hand, eyes still down. His own breath caught in his throat as his brain tried to rationalize what his ears were clearly telling him. The building settling, the ventilation, an echo, anything but what it sounded like. Slow, deliberate, patient breathing from the corner behind him. He turned around. The elevator was empty. 22nd floor. He laughed at himself, quietly, the way people do when they're embarrassed by their own fear. He turned back toward the doors and watched the numbers descend. 21, 20, 19. And then the lights went out. Not flickered, not dimmed, out. Complete and total darkness. So sudden and so absolute that Marcus felt his sense of space dissolve entirely. He couldn't tell where the walls were, couldn't tell where he was standing. His hand shot out and found cold metal, the railing, the back wall, and he pressed himself against it. The elevator was still moving. He could feel it. The faint sensation of descent still humming beneath his feet.
Hello?
His voice came out smaller than he intended. Silence. And then, and this is the part that would stay with him, that would crawl into every nightmare he'd have for the rest of his life, something touched the back of his hand. Not grabbed, not scratched, touched, gently. The way a child might reach out in the dark to make sure someone is still there. Marcus screamed. He lurched forward, slamming into the panel of buttons, pressing all of them, every single floor. His fingers stabbing at the emergency button, the door open button, anything with texture. The lights came back on. He spun around, still empty. His reflection stared back at him from the polished metal doors, pale, wide-eyed, coat half off his shoulder. Just a man alone in an elevator. Just a man. The doors opened on the 14th floor. No one there. A dark hallway. Marcus didn't move. They closed again. 12th floor, 10th, 8th. He kept his back pressed to the wall, and his eyes on every corner of that small space, and he told himself it was over. It was nothing. It was never anything. And then the elevator stopped. Between floors, 6 and 7. It just stopped. The hum died. The numbers froze, and the temperature dropped so sharply that Marcus could see his own breath rising in a thin, pale cloud in front of his face. He was not alone in this elevator. He had never been alone in this elevator. The breathing returned. Closer now. Close enough that when he turned his head slowly to the left, not wanting to, every nerve in his body screaming at him not to, he could feel it on his cheek. He did not look. He squeezed his eyes shut, pressed his back into the corner, and did not look. For 47 seconds, he counted, because counting was the only thing keeping his mind from shattering. Nothing happened. He stood there, breathing, counting, eyes shut. And then the elevator lurched back to life. It descended smoothly to the lobby. The doors slid open. The warm light of the empty lobby flooded in. The security desk, the marble floors, the revolving doors to the street outside. Marcus walked out quickly, then faster. Then he was through the revolving doors and on the sidewalk in the cold night. Air hit him like a wave and he stood there, hands on his knees, gasping. He never went back for his car. He walked home, 4 miles, in the cold, and he didn't mind at all. The next morning, building security reviewed the elevator footage from the night before. The camera showed Marcus entering alone. It showed him spinning around on the 37th floor, staring at nothing. It showed the lights go out. It showed the lights return. And there, in that brief moment when the lights flickered back on, in the corner just behind Marcus's left shoulder, the footage showed a shape, indistinct, formless, there for exactly 1 frame before it was gone. Security called it a camera artifact. Marcus called it the last time he ever worked late. If this story followed you into the dark, if you found yourself holding your breath somewhere, in that elevator, then you already know where to find more. There are more stories here waiting. Subscribe so the next one finds you first. And whatever you do tonight, check the corners before the doors close.